So question 8 says, write the function whose graph of y equals 4 times square root of x, but it's actually reflected about the y-axis. So about the y-axis means you're moving left to right. A left to right is an inside concept. So reflection over of the y-axis, you actually have to change the sign out on the inside of the function. So my new function should be 4 times the square root of negative x. That should be what we should have as our function. So if I graph y equals 4 times the square root of x, it should look like a square root function. So it should be a right arm, but it does have a vertical stretch because of that 4. So the opposite of x, also that's got to be an opposite symbol, not a minus symbol. So if I hit the graph button, there's what the function looks like to start with. Oh, I'm sorry, I actually graphed the new one. So if I graph that one, that's our original function. But now if I graph it with the same function, if I put an opposite of x inside there and graph it, notice how it did move across the y-axis. So that would be considered the horizontal reflection, a left to right reflection. So that's what we'd be looking for, is that. Now, if you put the negative on the outside, notice that it would actually reflected it over the y-axis. I'm sorry, up and down would be the x-axis. So if I graph a third function, if you will, notice it's going to be in black. If I do a negative on the outside, like so, that's actually going to make the graph go change vertically up and down. Instead of opening up, it's actually going to turn downward. So if I graph the third one in black, notice how my original graph is in blue. Notice how it's been reflected over the x-axis. So again, x-axis, you're talking about up and down concepts because you're going over the x-axis. So you're going up or down to go over the x-axis. That's got to be outside. But if reflecting over the y-axis, that's a left and right concept, because the y-axis is, to cross the y-axis, you have to be going left or right. So the sign change has to happen inside the function. So our function has got to be changed by putting a negative on the inside.